So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion on the minutes? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item number 5 is the approval of personnel transactions. Is there a motion to approve those personnel transactions?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any further discussion on the personnel transactions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Item number 6, for the contracts and grants that were reviewed at the workshop on May the 21st, they've through D. Is there a motion for those contracts and grants?
So moved.
Moved.
Is there a
Second.
second?
I'll second.
Is there any further discussion on the contracts and the grants? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Item number 7 is the approval of resolution 2015-11 budget adjustment that was reviewed during the workshop on the 21st. Is there a motion to approve that resolution?
Moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Item number 8 is the approval of reimbursement agreement number 08A152 for Horace Bridge Project, Part 1 of the preliminary engineering time extension. Is there a motion for the approval of that reimbursement agreement?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion on the timeline extension? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Item number 9 is the approval of Claremont Nursing Rehabilitation Center Medicare cost report for the end of year 2014. Is there a motion for the approval of that cost report?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item number 10 is the approval of the discussion of the capital project request for the pictometry of 2016 under the GIS department. Is there a motion to approve that capital project request?
Moved.
I will second for further discussion. There had been a series of emails back and forth regarding whether or not, in light of the creation of the state GIS board and the considerable expense that we would incur, could this either be spread for other counties to share, other agencies to share, and also relay that as a groundwork to open the discussion.
Okay, well. Yeah, I've had some concerns since we discussed this on Thursday, and, this is a pretty big expense, $269,000. But I understand not all of that would be expended in 2015. The bulk of it would be expended in 2016 and 2017, I believe, in terms of the payment schedule. Or maybe it's spread out over 4 years. But, one of the concerns I have is that, we had a significant amount of discussion and debate about things like farmland preservation, our contribution to, a county's economic development. And, here we're talking about an expenditure that's like 7 times what we contribute, for farmland preservation or, county's economic development. And, in the big picture, you look at all these things and you try to figure out, okay, what do we need to have versus what would we like to have? So before we move forward, because I would like to have a better handle on where we are financially with respect to our county budget before we move forward with single large expenditures such as this. Now, and I realize it may be a different situation in York County as it is here in Cumberland County, but York County, I understand, is, and they got a population about twice as many people in York County than we do in Cumberland County, but they're moving forward with a flyover that they've done, and essentially working with a bunch of other entities. I think the United States Geological Survey, the Army Corps of Engineers, and so forth, and they're planning to do this next year, I believe, at a cost of $79,000 to York County. Well, this is a heck of a lot more than what a county that's larger than us is expending on this. In addition to that, just late last year, the legislature passed Act, I think it was Act 128 or 178 of 2014. I'm not sure exactly what the act number was.
It's 178.
Okay, to set up this statewide geospatial coordinating board. And, you know, my understanding of part of that is that this is to take a look at all these different governmental entities with respect to who all's flying over where, to make sure we don't duplicate what everybody's doing. I mean, I know some municipalities in our county are doing their own flyovers. And I just think at a time when we're looking to try to save taxpayer dollars and, you know, be efficient with respect to the use of taxpayer dollars, that we ought to take another look at this. So at this point in time, in any event, and maybe, you know, I understand the reference to, you know, the oblique pictures that we're going to get with pictometry versus the vertical. Maybe we need to have that. Maybe that's a nice to have thing. But in any event, I think we ought to take a step back before we approve an expenditure this size that's going to obligate not just this board, but the next board of county commissioners. And I'd like to see where we are on our list of capital expenditures. And I asked for that. I would like a detailed list. So I would like to make a motion today to table this until we have a better handle on what some of our expenditures are going to be. And also, I'd like to know, I mean, this new state board hasn't even met for the first time yet, but I think it might be worth to hold off until we see what that organization comes up with. So I'd like to make a motion to table it, please.
You have a motion and a second. You need to take a vote.
Correct. And weighing in on the discussion of this project, budgeted, not budgeted. And I'm looking at the department. Budgeted.
How is it budgeted when we have a one-year budget?
Well,
And this is going to cost money over the next 4 years.
let me,
It's budgeted annually.
annually. And the capital expenses, I received a copy on from Dana listing out the capital expenses. So I'm not sure if I was the only one that received that or not. I believe that.
This was not on it, so, I mean, this was not on.
I didn't see the list.
Well,
This is part
it
of
was
your departmental budget?
your departmental budget.
Believe we budget the 80,000, and in the past, Dana has pulled from other resources and changed the money out of where it came from.
And that it was not an expense for one, it's not paid all in full, is what I'm trying to say.
Correct. We
It
paid
is
out of
paid
the.
incrementally. The expense is still there,
Correct.
but it is paid incrementally. Okay?
I believe,
As
Madam
far-
Chair, I don't mean to intrude
There-
on your comment, but I believe the motion to table is non-debatable.
Well, there's a motion and a second, and there's
Do we have a
still-
second on the motion?
Yes, we do. A motion was made, and there was a second, and the motion was made by Commissioner Eichelberger. I made the second for discussion, and that's where I believe we are. You made the motion to table.
Motion to table. That's what I'm waiting for. Is there a second to the motion to table?
Is there a motion?
I have one quick question. Larry, you're there, I presume.
He is.
Yes, I am.
We have a time deadline on this contract.
I'm looking at Jason.
Is there any
Or Justin.
discussion implied tabling this for 2 weeks?
We have pretty much until the end of the summer.
Did you hear that? Yeah, we have till the end of the summer.
I heard fine. In that case, I'll second the motion. So we gather additional information.
There's a motion and a a second to table. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those in favor? Commissioner Eichelberger,
Sorry?
all those in favor of
Yes.
tabling?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
2 ayes, 1 no. Item number 11 is the approval of resolution 2015-12 to restore state funding for public libraries.
Okay.
Is there approval of this resolution? Is there a motion to approve the resolution to put forward?
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution number 2015-12.
Is there a second?
For a second.
Is there any further discussion on the resolution?
Just a couple of 4 brief points I'd like to make about the resolution before us, which calls for restoration of state funding for our county's libraries. Number 1, and I think this is important, within the past 30 years since the inception of the voter-approved county library tax, our county's property taxpayers have increased their support for our county's libraries by 1,176%, from $253,247 in 1986 to $3,230,794 in the last year. 2, since the Great Recession, state support for our community-based public libraries throughout the state has been slashed by some 33%, or some $30 million annually, and in Cumberland County's case by a cumulative total of over $4.3 million. To the point today where less than $1 of every $4 of public taxpayer support for Cumberland County's library system comes from the state. $3 is coming from Cumberland County property taxpayers. The state funding cuts for our libraries, number 3, are the principal cause of the financial hardship faced by our county library system, and a restoration of these state funding cuts is both necessary and appropriate, considering that our libraries must abide by some 15 pages of state guidelines, regulations, and mandates, and that at least 16% of our county library patrons are out-of-county residents. And finally, number 4, at a time when our new governor and many legislators are, in my opinion, rightfully so, looking for ways to increase state support for public education and considering options to shift more of the school finance burden off the backs of our homeowners. A restoration of state funding for our libraries makes sense, considering that this funding is a part of the state's education budget, and that our libraries, like our schools, are educational institutions themselves, serving as preschool learning centers for our youngest children and learning environments for children of all ages, and during summer months when our schools are closed. So I would just simply ask for my colleagues' support of this resolution. Thank you.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion or comments on the resolution? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed to the resolution? First, to indicate that as an aye, so we at least have 2. Item number 12, the approval of the acceptance of Bill Neidig's resignation from the Cumberland County Recycling and Waste Authority. I will still make that motion to accept with regret Bill's resignation from the authority and move that a letter be sent to him thanking him for his service. Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any further discussion?
I assume that we're going to send him a letter of thanks for Okay, thank you.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Item number 13. Is there a motion for the approval of the appointment of Aaron Short to the Cumberland County Recycling and Waste Authority?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item number 14, a discussion and approval of assessor agreement. Mark Adams is in the room present. This is Comcast Business, a right of entry for 1601 Rittner Highway in conjunction with the link for Rapid Transit.
All right, I apologize for the late notice. I got an email from Comcast on Thursday afternoon requesting access to the building, so there's a right of entry request that you guys have for in front of you, so they can come in with their fiber, so that Rapid can have their network up and running. Rapid's technical people are coming in next week, and we need action rather sooner rather than later, so they can get, their goal is to have the network up and running and function by the 15th of June, so they're ahead of the game for the transition.
Yeah, you had sent us an email about this, I believe, too, didn't you? Didn't you send us an email about this?
There was discussion of it when last time Rich was here.
Yes, there was plenty of discussion about it, but the Comcast agreement came in Thursday afternoon for.
After our workshop.
Correct.
Okay, is there a chance to see that?
Yes, it's similar to other agreements that you have.
Okay, liability, all that is fine?
There's no construction, that was a question that came up from Keith, there's no construction, they're just extending the fiber that the library already has in the building.
Okay, I will still make that motion for the right of entry for Comcast. Is there a second?
Second?
Is there any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Item number 15 are the general disbursement transfer authorizations. They are A through H. Is there a motion for those general disbursement transfer authorizations?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Item number 16, I'd like to report an executive session held May the 21st of 2015 at 9:40 a.m. for personnel issues. Item number 17, I'd like to acknowledge receipt of the monthly reports from the coroner, the Conservation District, the clerk of courts for the month of April. Is there any other business to come before the Board of Commissioners? Hearing none, thank you very much, we're adjourned.